Here we are with another game that I want to talk about because this is actually a really fun game in my opinion. Uh, this is Galaga 88 or Galaga 90, depending on where you're at in the world, and it is, in my personal opinion, my favorite version of Galaga. It is very enjoyable. Yes, it starts out at very basic, just Galaga. Like, look, we're shooting, we're having fun. Um, but there's more power ups, there's more of a presence than anything. It gets eventually pretty difficult as you go. You get bonus points, of course. We all know how Galaga is with bonus points. I missed, I'm trash. But you go farther and farther, and eventually you go into a movable level. We'll see it once we get there. But I wanted to talk about this game specifically because I feel that a lot of, oh, wow, we're bad. I feel like a lot of people actually miss out on this game. Because Galaga, for a lot of people, is a very basic game. It's a shoot 'em up. It's similar to Space Invaders, in which you're just, some people just don't like it, and that's totally understandable. But I happen to think that this is one of the best shoot 'em ups. I can't shoot that. Well, we are having a hard time shooting for some reason. There we go. All right, let's grab our thing real quick. But overall, it becomes a very fun and, in my opinion, very enjoyable uh, just adventure as you go. And this is also showcased by the achievement set, which we'll talk about. I'm bad. Oh my god. I'm having a real bad time with this. It's been a little bit since I played it, but when I was getting into RA in particular, a lot of the games I ended up playing were just like, I've heard about them, or in some of the cases, I straight up was just expecting certain games from my childhood to play really well, or so on and so forth. But with Galaga 88, I had no preconceived like notion of this game, and as I played it, I really enjoyed it, and the achievement set was kind of a challenge for me. It wasn't necessarily hard, but it's one of those ones that definitely makes you check yourself and go, "Hey, I'm not doing as great as you would think." But we'll get into that in a second. Overall, this plays fantastic for a shoot 'em up. It is definitely one of the better Galagas to have ever existed. And honestly, if you love Galaga or if you love shoot 'em ups, this is definitely like a really good rendition of it. But ignoring that, let's talk about the set. The set itself is bog standard for a shoot 'em up. It's an older set, so it's pretty standard. But ignoring that, I do think it has a lot of decent achievements. One, there's a hard mode, which I forgot to select when I originally started. My bad. But it, at the same time, there's also finishing different positions on the map. So basically, there's multiple dimensions that you can have access to, which I think we have access to dimension 3, based on when I got the power up, I think. Uh, Overall, though, you have to fully complete all those. We'll see the bosses eventually, hopefully, and you have to go for perfects on multiple stages. The cool part about the stages stuff is that they're not brutally hard to get perfect. There's plenty of time, except I missed. I'm really bad. uh, but you can also quickly get to different perfect stages quicker and quicker than you would think. The dimension hopping allows you to quickly travel to different parts of the game, which is actually really enjoyable. And also at the same time, while some of these are very annoyingly hard, specifically like getting max power or doing the weird galactic like dance bonus, which is really annoying, it is very enjoyable all the way through. And you can actually see that we are now in what I was talking about, where it's not just standard Galaga. Uh, it is really enjoyable to quickly go through this because you're in like more of a moving like shoot 'em up, which this is not Galaga, or at least not the standard that Galaga always has. But Overall, it's very fun because you get to play on hard mode with multiple dimensions. You get to fight uh, interesting enemies that don't necessarily make Galaga impossible, but do add an extra layer of challenge that is very enjoyable. Getting all the achievements proves to be pretty rewarding. I don't think they are the hardest achievements on the site by a long shot. I don't think they're free though. Some of them are, but that's just retro achievements in a nutshell. But when it comes to the... I try to actually get in there. My bad. But when it comes to actually being able to fully enjoy the set, I do think it suffers from a lot of the old adage that Retro Achievements has. This is an older set, and with it comes the problem of some of the achievements being very annoying to grind for. For example, there's one for firing a certain amount, which I actually didn't get the first time I beat the game on hard, which is a little asinine to me. I don't know how I didn't get it, but I just didn't. And so why am I doing that? I'm just getting hit. I'm bad. I almost died. But a lot of the overall dimension hopping is also very annoying because it doesn't really change much. It should be much more boss based than it is. I missed. And while I do think this game is great, I do think the achievement set is the problem here. The game, I give an 8 to even a 9 out of 10. I think is very enjoyable, especially on the PC Engine, which I think is the best way to play it, though the arcade version is really strong as well. Hopefully that gets a set eventually. And while I would love to say that the set is really fantastic, it's merely a 6. It covers most of the game, but even as we fight this boss here, there's nothing really attached to it besides level markers or points, which is kind of disappointing because you would expect that with all these bosses that there'd be interesting gimmicks or something along those lines that would be very enjoyable, but alas, it's not in this game. Bosses aren't also that hard on normal, but yeah, and the set itself is very simple, so I'd give it a 6. But overall, I do recommend, if you're a shoot 'em up fan, as we sit here in what is going to be the final level for us, I recommend you check it out. I do think the game itself is fantastic. That's actually hilarious that I got the extra life done. And at the same time, if you're on Retro Achievements, this is a really fun set. I think that's hard, but not ridiculous to the point of being completely asinine. And I think that's a really fair way to start on Retro Achievements if you're brand new, or even if you just like the shoot 'em up genre and you want to give it a shot. I recommend it.